Hello, everybody. So this is today's article, or at least this is the photo associated with it, and it's on the website popsugar.com. And today it's basically about anxiety and coffee. So this is a photo of a lady, I guess, with a coffee cup, discussing her anxiety maybe, or just feeling anxious. So let's go over to the article itself. So it's titled, I have anxiety, but I refuse to quit coffee. Here's how I make it work. Okay. So in this sentence here, I guess there's an implication that coffee makes anxiety worse. That seems to be what it's implying, or it seems to be just assuming it as a fact. Is that true? Do you think that is true? Does coffee make anxiety worse? Or perhaps you don't experience anxiety? Anyone want to comment about that?
It depends of amount of drinking coffee,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's true, I guess, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So let's scroll on then. So the writer here is Mercy Livingston. Mercy Livingston, that's the journalist or the writer of the article. And the photos from Getty. So now, Michael, I see you're all ready to get going. So this is over to you now. This bit's over to you. So read as much as you want. Not too fast, but however you feel, really. Over to you.
Okay. Okay. Anxious, drink coffee, same. Maybe you should cut back on the coffee. It's something I hear nearly every time I mention that I happen to have anxiety and love coffee. If you, like me, are wondering if you really have to ditch coffee because you have anxiety, hear me out. You don't have to quit it completely. Sure, plenty of people feel better off of coffee and say that switching to matcha or mixing caffeine change their lives. And I love that for you. But please stop telling me to quit coffee. Coffee makes me happy. I know with 100% certainty that if you take me coffee away from me, I will be a less happy person and will miss a ritual that brings me joy every day. Can't I just have my one thing? How do I know this? Because I've tried to quit coffee several times in my life, and when I did, my life did not drastically change. My anxiety did not disappear. I was just tired, grumpy, and sad long after the caffeine withdrawal subsided. So, what do experts have to say? Caffeine overload mimics anxiety. If you are anxious, it will worsen your symptoms, said Nisa Goldberg, MD, a cardiologist at New York University, Langone Medical Center.
Fantastic. I've stopped you there. Really good reading. Very, very good. Anything you want to ask or
I I
yeah.
don't understand
Mhm.
clearly the phrase same.
At the
Anxious,
beginning. Yeah,
yes.
that's right. Same. Yeah, so it's a little bit like it doesn't get a great deal of use, this little saying, but sometimes people do say it, but it's really like saying same thing, same thing. So they're really sort of saying that anxiety and coffee are basically the same thing. So they're really saying that coffee causes anxiety. Does that make sense? So they're just saying it's
Yeah,
the same thing.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, they pretty much amount to the same thing. Obviously, coffee is not the same thing as anxiety, but they kind of, for the purposes of what they're writing here, they just quickly put that down. It's a little bit of a joke, I suppose, in a way, isn't it, if you think about it? Because clearly it can't be the same thing, in a way. Yeah, that was good. I missed that one, that's true. Anything else?
Uh, is in third paragraph.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, my life did not drastically change.
Mm.
Drastically, it's drastically, it's like dramatically, the same meaning.
Um, yeah, pretty much the same meaning. So drastically means a very big change. If something's drastic, it's very big and very noticeable, I guess you might say. But he's saying it did not make a drastic change. So they quit their coffee and it wasn't a big change, didn't make a big change to anxiety. Sort of, yeah, vaguely like dramatic. You might say it's the same sort of meaning, roughly speaking. I noticed when you stopped for a second at this word here, subsided. But you pronounced it very well, I thought, subsided. That's it. Um,
So I did.
subsided. Perfect. And this name, I have never seen this name before, and I think your guess was as good as mine. I think so. I wouldn't, I won't criticize you on that name there because I've got no idea. Looks like Nice, but it can't be quite Nice, can it? But Nisa, maybe. Naisa. So what does NYU stand for down here? NYU.
New York University, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. You've guessed it. Yeah. And I think that's reasonably well known in America. I mean, in Europe, in Britain, it's pretty much unheard of, I would have thought, because obviously we don't live there. But Langon Medical Center, yeah, that's quite well known. Um, what about this word up here? What does that mean? So, and how do you say it? How would you pronounce those two words there?
Mixing caffeine, it's reduce or it's like ditch. The same meaning, it's like ditch.
So, yeah, it's more like ditch, I think, really. So I think the word nix means in Dutch German it means like zero, nil, nothing, or even I think it comes from nicht, which means nighttime. So I think it
Yeah,
means or
in
is
German.
related in German. That's it. I think actually in Dutch nix means nothing, nil, nix. So yeah, so it means zeroing out your caffeine, make your caffeine go down to zero. That's what it's really saying. So it's not just reducing it; it's killing it completely. I
Ah,
suppose.
yeah,
Yeah. And what about this word here? What would we say about that there? So how would you say that one?
matcha,
Yes,
matcha.
match. I think so. Matcha. Yeah, matcha. But what does it mean? Or what is it?
I've seen it before. It's green powder of it's green tea. It's
Ah,
powder of
okay.
green tea. It's very common in Japanese tea traditional. It's
Okay.
traditional Japanese tea,
I wasn't
matcha.
aware of that. So it's traditional Japanese, but it's tea rather, and it's not really coffee then, or anything like coffee. So you wouldn't say there's caffeine in it then, would you? From your memory, is there caffeine in it? Do you think in matcha?
Mm, I know I don't know, but I know in tea it's
Hmm.
called tannin. In
Tannin.
coffee,
That's right. Yes.
coffee in tea tannin.
Yes, that's it. Tannin. But have heard it said that there's more caffeine in tea than there is in coffee. Of course, it depends on how big a coffee and how strong the coffee is. But so it's not, at least it says I guess there's none. We can't say there's no caffeine in tea. But I guess the main ingredient, that particular taste in tea, does come from the tannin. And I think tannin's also in red wine too. It's the red that gives you the red color, I think, or something to do with the red color. Um, I did notice when you said the very first, it's very, very small details I'm pulling out here, really. So I think you did a very good reading. I think you said, let me read this first line. So, anxious, drink coffee, same, same. That's how I would read that bit there. But when you said coffee, I think you said coffee, coffee. And that's a very American way of saying it. That's the way the Americans say it, coffee, coffee. So it was a very good American accent you had there. But when you got down here, it sounded much more British. So coffee, it was coffee, and there it was coffee. So I really liked that. I really enjoyed it. So it was very good. Um, Anything else that you noticed or want to go back over or check or anything?
Oh no, I
There was something. Um, just slightly. There was the words. There was a V word here somewhere, down here somewhere, and then the W word. I can't remember.
withdrawals.
Yes, it probably was that. Yeah. So yes, there's two W's there. So withdrawals. So that second W there, it's a bit odd, I suppose. The first one's quite strong, the first W. So withdrawals. Yeah.
Withdrawals.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. See, it's fairly strong W, and you're sort of just about doing a reasonably good strong one. So withdrawals, that's it. I think you got it. And once again, maybe.
Withdrawals.
Oh, yeah,
Withdrawals.
your second and third were pretty good actually. Um, and the other one was right up here, maybe if I can spell it correctly. So this one. Do you want to do this word over here in blue?
Several.
Yeah,
Several.
yeah, several. I think it's saying sever. I think it's saying several. Sort of thing. It's more several.
Several.
Yeah,
Several.
yeah. That's pretty
Several.
much it. That's pretty much it. You might want to practice that one a little bit. Several. Um, so maybe. So what's that word there? What does that one mean? That one there. We don't see that word too often, I guess.
Mimics, it's pretended to be
Hmm.
like something.
That's it. Pretends.
Like,
Something is
let's say,
copying something else, pretending to be something else. That's it. So here it is. So coffee overload mimics anxiety. That's it. So too much coffee, it kind of makes you think you're anxious if you have too much coffee.
looks like,
Yeah, it
looks
sort of
like,
looks. That's it.
it's
Yeah, yeah. That's it. Looks like. Okay. Any questions from anybody else? Anyone else have any questions about this article? Any this little bit this part we've read here? Or maybe that there actually. Hmm. Let me just read that line there. I'll try and so let's see. I hope I can get it correctly. Say it correctly. So sure, plenty of people feel better off. So really, so it's better off better off of. So it's better off. No, yeah, better off. So really, you should be said. It should be read as this bit here. So you say this bit first, and then you have a little gap there. It's not obvious, and so it's easy to get this wrong, and I've got it wrong just reading it now. So, sure, plenty of people feel better off of coffee. So that's how you should say it. So, off of coffee. So, sort of say that as if it was perhaps one word almost. So, sure, plenty of people feel better off of coffee. So that's how I would have said that. But it's easy to get it wrong, and I did when I first started, didn't I? So it's not easy. So if you're off of something, it means you're not having it anymore. So these sort of two words you could sort of put close together. You sort of say them as if they were one word. And in fact, you could put all three words together and say off of coffee, off of coffee, or off of sugar, or off of bread, maybe, or anything. Okay. So, but it's not obvious when you're reading it, really, is it? Um, so I liked a lot of the way your voice went up and down. I thought you did it very well. It was very good. But there's always sort of improvements in that regard. The Yeah. Okay, so let's scroll on. Then no one's asking. There's no other questions. Let's scroll on. So okay, so this looks like an advert in the middle. So let me read this little bit here first of all. So if you, like me, are thinking we need a second opinion on that, don't worry. We've got several. We've got several. So so I'll just scroll up beyond that now. So now it's over to Giuseppe. So this is your little bit here, if you're okay reading that there.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you.
Giuseppe.
How does caffeine affect someone with anxiety or high stress level? It ups your stress hormones. Remember cortisol and adrenaline, those stress hormones you are trying to mitigate? Yeah, Caffeine stimulates production of both of those in the body. Your body responds with an increased heart rate, hypertension, and rapid breathing. This response can not only trigger anxiety, but also sustain it, said psychotherapist Jody Aman, LCSWR. It depletes your anxiety-fighting minerals. Caffeine also depletes magnesium, the anti-anxiety mineral, leaving you with very few natural ways of coping with stress. Can you still have coffee? Maybe. I've made it work for me, so there may be a way for you too. Personally, I have found that overdoing coffee, read more than 2 cups, or caffeine in general, exacerbates my anxiety. And I've been through some more intense periods of anxiety in my life where I had to drop the caffeine way down. And I should note that one of the most helpful things I have ever done for my chronic anxiety is see a doctor and take anxiety medication.
Yeah, fantastic reading. Very, very good. Very, very good. So anything you want to raise with this little bit you've read, or
Oh, hypertension breathing. So maybe the pronunciation of magnesium, I think
yeah, I did notice that. That's the only real thing I noticed. So we say magnesium, magnesium.
magnesium. Okay, thank you.
More magnesium, magnesium,
Magnesium.
magnesium. That's it. You've got it. That's really the only thing I noticed, to be honest. Maybe this word here. So the way they've written this, we don't spell the word this way,
Yeah.
but so they're indicating here that it's a big decrease rather than just a small decrease, by putting an extra couple of extra Y's on the end. So if I was to read that out, I would say from there maybe, I had to drop the caffeine way down. That's how I would have said it. But I'm sort of a little bit over. I like to over dramatize things. So there's other ways of reading it, of course. But that's what it indicates. It'd be a big drop. It emphasizes the drop.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, any ideas what that might stand for?
Absolutely not.
No. The SW would be social worker. I think it's licensed clinical social worker, and I don't know what the R. I don't know what the R stands for at all. I just do not know. Okay, so that's. I have nothing to add really. So that was a fantastic reading. Very, very good. Oh, the only thing maybe was maybe I really loved how you read the bit in bold types. So you read them out as titles and you put a slightly different voice on when you read it. That was very, very good. So anyone listening to you as you were hearing that, they would be quite clear that was like a question or a title. It was very, very good. I like that. But maybe with when you had but with this word here, I think you sort of rushed that word there perhaps. So if I was to read that little title out there, I would have said it as it ups your stress hormone. So I gave it just a little bit of extra emphasis to that word
Yeah.
because it's the key word in the sentence, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, in the title perhaps. But it's nothing. I thought it was a fantastic reading, very, very good. I was tempted to scroll down to get you to read a little bit more but then again, no. Maybe any question for anybody else, Michael, or Giuseppe, or Elena, anyone?
No, just maybe I think Michael agrees with me that there is a little, it is not so precise in the first paragraph because it increases heart rate and blood pressure because hypertension.
Medically.
Medically speaking, it increases heart rate, that
Mhm.
it about heart and blood pressure, that is about another part of our circulation. So, but it is matter of the author, not.
Yeah, I guess they're not a doctor or medical person, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it should have perhaps just mentioned, so increase heart rate and blood pressure, and
Yeah,
in brackets,
exactly.
hypertension.
I think
Yeah, yeah.
it could be more
More precise.
correct, more precise. Yeah.
Yeah, he's missing out the odd little detail. You can tell it's not a doctor who's written this article because there's some sort of missing out key details, yes. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I've noticed that sometimes when I read an article, I understand a particular subject, and I can tell the author or the journalist doesn't really know what they're talking about. They've just copied down, made lots of notes, and they've missed out some key things. Yes, very true. I've noticed that many times. But this is not something I'm up to scratch with, really. So let me scroll on then. So this is Elena. This is your go. Over to you, Elena. So if you're okay, if you're still with us, I heard that someone left. I don't know who it was as yet. So, but when I'm feeling okay, this one starts. So just read as much as you want or as little as you want, Elena.
Uh,
Okay.
yes, one sec. Yeah. Where can I start? Sorry.
Okay. So have you been before, Elena?
Yes, I was listening.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. So can you
Yeah.
see where I've highlighted it in blue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but when?
Yeah. But when I'm feeling okay, I found a few ways to keep my anxiety in check while also enjoying my coffee. To start, when I'm at home, I add half a serving of regular coffee and half decaf coffee to my sorry, chemix. I also like to treat myself to Nespresso Virtuo half cup pots every now and then. Cutting back to half cut still gives me enough caffeine that I feel alert and focused, but not so much that I get anxious or stressed as easily. Anna Puteani, MSRD, owner of Be Well Nutrition Counseling, suggests switching to a smaller sized coffee mug, trying half cup or getting one of your espresso shots decaf if you are also experimenting with reducing coffee due to anxiety. When I get a latte with 2 shots of espresso, I ask for one of them to be decaf, she says. She also suggests avoiding coffee on an empty stomach if you have anxiety to help prevent shakiness and stomach upset. Ideally, try to wait until you've had breakfast, especially a protein-rich one, she adds. Dr. Goldberg, for one, allows her patients a moderate intake of caffeine in any product. So what does moderation mean? Coffee and espresso will put you in the 70 milligrams to 135 milligrams range, and tea will typically have between 15 milligrams and 70 milligrams. Cold brew can have nearly double the caffeine as other drinks, with a Grange cold brew from Starbucks clocking in at around 205 milligrams of caffeine.
Yes. Yes. Very good. Very, very good. Anything you want to ask about that little bit there? Anything questions or pronunciation, meanings, maybe?
Chimix,
Yeah, at the
first
beginning.
paragraph.
To my, I would say Chemex.
Chemix.
Chemex, yes. I think this is a brand I've only ever come across as,
I've never heard about that.
To my
Okay.
Chemex. I don't, to be honest, I don't know. Let's search it. I have heard of them doing that brand. Yes, so I know they sell a thing that cleans
It's
coffee
like a coffee
machines.
machine, yes.
Yeah, and
Coffee
I've come
maker.
across, that's right, I come across a thing that they do that cleans the coffee machines. So but Chemex sounds like chemicals, doesn't it? So it's not, that doesn't sound like an ideal brand name, does it? So there we go. To my Chemex. So she has one of those machines at home, I guess, and she adds a serving of normal coffee and I think half decaf coffee to her
Decaf.
machine. So it's to my machine, she could have said. So she's showing off a little bit to saying the machine that she has. It might be because maybe Chemex sponsored this article or something like that. I don't know. Probably they didn't actually, but I'm guessing.
Maybe.
But then again, if you notice, it says here that Nespresso Virtuo half calf pods, they have a link to Amazon. So maybe they help to, well, it's just a link there. Anything else? Anything else you want to mention or ask about? Okay, just say if there is. Or if you
You're
can,
just checking all words.
yeah, just flick through it quickly in your mind, sort of thing. Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. It seems okay.
Okay, so oh well, my cursor's right here. I noticed this word when he said it.
Protein.
Yeah,
Protein rich.
so I would say this word is protein. Protein.
Protein.
Yeah.
Protein.
Okay. So that you're trilling the R's slightly occasionally. So we don't really do that. So try be careful on that if you can. So that little sentence in the brackets I would read as, especially a protein-rich one, she adds. Do you want to just read that that little bit there again? Read it again. So I'll read it for you once more. So, especially a protein-rich one, she adds. You'll go.
Especially a protein-rich one, she adds.
That's it. Okay, that's pretty good. Pretty good. So especially.
Especially.
Yeah, that's good. So if I go up to this word here, so it's ES and ESP, similar to this word down the bottom, just below, I should say. So have you said that one there?
Espresso.
That, yeah, that's it. That's it. So, but at the end is we normally say espresso,
Mm-hmm.
and you're saying espressa. You're saying espressa. So
Espresso.
espresso. So it's
Espresso.
small difference, really.
Espresso. Mm-hmm.
Espresso.
Espresso. Mm-hmm. Espresso, maybe.
Yeah, but yeah,
Open.
that's it. But it's
Oh.
more. It's just sort of it's not quite so obvious at the end. So if I just say it again, espresso. Sorry, espresso.
Espresso. Espresso.
Um, it's very tempting to miss out the SP and put an X in there. So expresso. It's not really
Espresso.
exical, but and
Espresso.
so it's espresso. Well, it depends.
Espresso. Espresso.
Yeah, but yeah, that's good. That's good.
Espresso.
You really said it reasonably okay, and I could understand it, but it's just the end sound you really wasn't quite there. I noticed.
I'm a coffee addicted person. I like flat white, and when I order flat white, in 90% cases, the waiter asks me again, what?
What do you ask for again? Could you just say that again? What you asked for?
Flat white.
90%
Flat white.
flat white.
Yes.
Oh, I've got you. Yes, a flat white. So when you say flat, what do you mean by flat white? What does that mean?
It's a sort of coffee. It's very popular in
Yes, of
England.
course, I know. But can you explain it? So this is an
This is
excuse for you
espresso.
to say English, speak in English.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go on.
think it's half espresso and half of whipped milk.
Oh, whipped milk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So whipped milk. Do you
Yes,
want to just say that again? So whipped milk.
whipped milk.
Okay. You're getting there. It wants a bit of practice. And when you were saying espresso, you said
Espresso.
you said espressa. Espresso, I should say, espresso. You put an A back on the end. So it's easy.
Espresso.
It's easy to forget. So write some of these words down and come back to them in an hour's time, just to remind yourself about the pronunciation. Maybe you could add protein. Don't trill the R. The R is sort of flat. It's not a
Protein.
rhotic R. So protein.
Protein. Rich.
That's it.
Protein.
Yeah, that was good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's just little details I'm pointing at here, really. Essentially little details. But I must admit, there's a good number of little details. I think it was that word. So what does? I'm not quite sure. I can't remember now. So if I just rereading that little half sentence there. So what does moderation mean? Can you just read that again?
So what does moderation mean?
Yeah. So maybe the W in what?
What?
It's a little bit too heavy, I guess. And maybe the word moderation. So if I just say moderation again for you. So moderation. So say it again for me, Elena.
Moderation.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. So maybe just read the whole sentence again. So it was the W in what and the word moderation. So what does moderation mean? You'll go.
So what does moderation mean?
Yeah. Okay. I think you really, I missed out the T, but you said it quite well, I think. Yeah, that's good. Pretty good. So what does moderation mean? Once more.
So have we pronounced T at the end?
Yes, you did do. You did it nice and
But
clearly,
some
but
English
I missed it
people
out. Say
don't
again.
pronounce it. What? It's typical. What instead of what?
I would say if you're very friendly with someone, yes, you can. It's okay to miss out the little details. But if I was in a job interview and it was very important to make a good impression, I would definitely try to pronounce all these the end letter T's at the end of words. It's very easy just to drop them out, and I think a lot of people judge people when the way they pronounce certain words, and so it's put them on. Don't forget about them. I'd say the East End accent misses out, drops a lot of the T's at the end of the words. So the odd one is okay, but if you do it consistently, I think it can be a bit of a problem. So I think most people sort of judge it poorly if you miss out the T's at the end. They judge that sort of poorly. It's a bit sad in a way, but I suppose if they recognise that you're learning the language, they wouldn't judge you too badly, hopefully. But I think it's sort of we don't really realise we're doing it sometimes. I think it's not something we naturally do. We probably shouldn't do it, but it does happen. I noticed this word too, just looking at it now. So could you say this word for me again up here?
Focused.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Focused. And again, focused.
Focused. Focused.
Okay.
Focused.
So more, try to just miss off the ed for the moment. So just focus.
Focal. Focused. Focus.
Sort of. Yeah, but I can sort of understand what you're saying. It could be a little bit clearer, I would say. Let me just perhaps it'll hurt a little bit if I bring up the dictionary. Auteur. The word auteur is on the screen. So focus.
Focused. Focused.
Okay, so I think the O needs a little bit of extra emphasis when you're reading it or saying it out loud. Let's just do the focus for the moment. Let's get focus correct. So let's just listen to how they say it. Really loud, isn't it? Focus, and she's definitely saying the vowel sound quite strong there, isn't she? Can you just sort of copy her for the moment? If I just play it again, so just copy her, can you, Elena?
Focus.
Yeah, that's getting there. Focus. That's it. And again.
Focus.
Yeah, that's getting it. And maybe we'll put the ed on the end now. So focused.
Focused. Focused.
Okay, well, let's hear them.
Focused.
Can you say it once more, Elena?
Focused.
Focused. That's it. Okay, you're getting it. I think that's it. That's pretty good. Okay, perhaps write this one down as one to practice a little bit. A little bit, maybe. Okay. Article. There we go. Anything else that you noticed here that you want to go back over again? We did chemex. That's all we mentioned, I think, wasn't it?
Chemics.
Yeah, we've done that one. So it's a brand name. You probably will never come across it again. I think you can probably buy them in the UK, but maybe just America mainly, I guess. But I did notice this word. So just say this word here on the screen here. That's in blue.
Yeah, get.
Yeah, get. Yeah, just so I'm saying get.
Get.
Yeah, I think the vowel sound is similar, but it's just slightly different, the vowel sound in the middle. So I'm get, get, get.
Get.
And
Get.
again,
Get.
you're getting there. I can hear a little, maybe I'm mishearing it, but I can hear a little bit of that word. So get.
Get. Get.
Yeah, so you
Get.
sort get. And again, get.
Get. Get.
Okay. Okay. We'll come back to that one maybe. Anything else you noticed? I think that was all I really noticed really thinking about it. Do you fancy just rereading that very short sentence there, a little bit there?
Dr. Goldberg, for one, allows her patients a moderate intake of caffeine in any product.
Okay, let me read it back to you. So, Dr. Goldberg, for one, allows her patients a moderate intake of caffeine in any product. So, maybe Goldberg. So, your R was quite strong when you said Goldberg. So, Goldberg, just say,
Goldberg.
yeah.
Goldberg.
Okay, that's getting it. That's getting it. And maybe moderate intake of caffeine. So moderate.
Moderate intake of caffeine.
Yeah, so with this word here, so it's moderate. I can hear you sort of
Moderate.
really saying the R quite strongly, but it's sort of
Moderate.
moderate. Moderate.
Moderate.
Yeah, that's getting it. So just the whole thing again. So moderate intake of caffeine.
Moderate intake of caffeine.
Moderate. So once again, moderate, moderate.
Moderate.
Yeah, I think you're still. I can hear. I can hear you saying moderate. I can hear you saying
Moderate.
rate. Hold on, I can hear you say rate at the end. So we don't sort of say it that way. I think that was it then actually. Moderate, moderate. I'm not really
Moderate.
saying rate, am I? So moderate.
Moderate.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Moderate.
And maybe these last two words here. So any product, any product.
Any product.
That's it. That's it. That's really good. That's good. So you're toning the R back a little bit there. So that's getting it. That's getting it. So I'll read the whole thing back to you, and then just read the whole thing once more. I'll read it first, and it's your go. So Dr. Goldberg, for one, allows her patients a moderate intake of caffeine in any product. Your go.
Dr. Goldberg, for one, allows her patients a moderate intake of caffeine in any product.
Yeah, that was better. I think that was better. Yes, but it still needs more work. I would say still needs more work. So, any other things that have come out there that you want to read, go back over again, or anything? No, anything else? Or anybody else for that matter? Anyone else have any other questions? No.
No.
Okay. Okay. So I know somebody dropped out. Was that Morty? Did Morty drop out? I think he may have dropped out. Yes, Morty's gone. Okay. Okay. So we go back to the beginning again, Michael, if that's okay. So thanks so much for that, Elaine. Elaine, I should say, sorry. If I scroll down a bit further, so
Mhm.
hopefully might be able to go around if everyone have another read. Is it okay if you just read the one paragraph this time rather than the whole page? We may not have enough time. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
okay.
So this is Michael's go now, actually, if that's okay. So over to you, Michael. Thank you.
Some things, some things that may curb the effects of caffeine include drinking water, as well as adding some stress fighting supplements like L-theanine, theanine,
Mm,
to your routine. I've tried mushroom coffee that has less caffeine than regular coffee plus added L-theanine, which works great for me. I find that the L-theanine helps curb, the anxious edge that caffeine can sometimes give me. In the afternoon, when I'm craving a second cup, I opt for the mushroom coffee or a matcha over cold brew.
yes. A good reading. Really, very good reading. So any words there or ideas you want to go back over again just to double check?
Yeah, I have the first. It's uh, L-theanine, T9.
I've not heard of it, so but they seem to love it. So they mentioned it a couple of times. Well, it looks like you can buy it in the shops, I guess. So I don't know how to pronounce it. So it starts with a TH, L-theanine. I think it might be L-theanine. So L-theanine is an amino acid found primarily in green and black tea and some mushrooms.
It's like tannin.
Yeah, this yeah, looks like deadly nightshade. This looks to me like deadly nightshade over here. It isn't. Okay. It also is available in pill or tablet form. It's said to help ease anxiety, stress, reduce insomnia. Before trying it out, learn more about the potential health benefits as well as any possible risks and complications. Does anyone recognize this plant here? This photo of a plant? That's where my cursor is.
L-theanine. I know melatonin.
Oh, melatonin.
It
Yes, there's
maybe
melatonin, but I don't think it's related. Hope it isn't related. I, I think that's regulated. I think it's in the UK. It's very hard to buy melatonin. I think it's regulated in the UK. Maybe not elsewhere, but this to me looks like deadly nightshade. So if it's related to deadly nightshade, you need to be careful with that one. So okay, so it's something you can buy in the shops, but and it seems to be related to what they're talking about. So it's interesting, and it sort of has it's more calming. It seems to be something that has a calming effect, which is the opposite, of course, of caffeine. So anything else, Michael? There.
prob cap. The word is in first sentence
Mm.
curb.
Oh,
Something that may curb.
yeah, that's pretty much how you say it, curb. So here it means to reduce the effects of something, to control it or manage it in some way, to curb something. So I might curb a child's excesses of excitement. So I somehow dampen down a child's excitement. So dampen down something, control it, moderate it in some way. That's what it means. But it's not, it could be anything almost. It could be moderating anything. The other meaning of there's another word curb, but it's spelt slightly differently. I hope it's spelled differently. So it sounds the same, that word there. So this is curb. In the UK, the curb is where the road ends and the pavement or the sidewalk starts. So that's the very edge of the pavement or the sidewalk, the curb. But it sounds the same as this other word curb. But they have two different meanings but sound the same. Um,
Uh,
yeah, anything
but
else?
I find in my translator,
Oh, yes.
cap it's payment. Yes, it's edge of payment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What the same word? This word here, curb. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't know that. It's fascinating. I've learned something today. Um, oh, that's interesting. So is it curb or curb in the UK? So maybe it's both. Maybe I'm wrong. So in American English, curb is the preferred term for the stone or concrete edging. This is exactly true. There's so many differences with English, and so that's the American way, the with the
Uh,
C, but the English way is with the K. But it sounds the same, and most people wouldn't notice the difference. Frankly, most people wouldn't notice the difference. So thanks for that, Michael. I'm totally unaware of that. I'd forgotten that all. There was something else I noticed. Anxious. There was something there. I noticed at the beginning. Um, so I think when you said, I think up here. So there's two words that sound similar. I think you said the affects. It sounded like
effect. Yeah,
yeah. So this is. I would say that word is FX. 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 So there's affects and FX. So one's a noun and one's a verb.
affects. It's a noun. Affects. It was
Oh,
recently in this text. It's a verb. It affects its
mm,
impact on your. Mm,
oh, yes. Okay. So it just sounded when you said it. I thought I heard affects. So as it sounded like, but maybe I misheard it. It's possible. So in other words, I would read that as the way they've written it then. So some things that may curb the effects of caffeine include drinking water. So that's really the only detail, which is almost nothing really. And I could have misheard that. There was something else. Anything that anyone else has noticed? I want to go back over again. There was something else. Um, oh yes, it was that word, wasn't it? So that little sentence there, I would read that as. How would you read that sentence? Read that again for me, Michael.
when I'm craving a second cup.
Yeah, so I
Okay,
would read that as so when I'm craving a second cup,
great.
that's craving, that's it. So when I'm craving a second cup, so when I'm desperate, so desperate for a second cup. So sometimes if you're addicted to something, you may crave it. Oh, I love that program. I'm craving watching that television program. If you really love something or addicted to it, you may say you crave it. Crave. So let's scroll on if that's okay. Any other questions, do ask, don't hold back. So Giuseppe, if you're still with us, Giuseppe, is that okay? Could you read a little
Yeah,
bit here maybe?
yeah,
Maybe it's
thank you.
there, that's okay, that one there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. When is it time to say goodbye? If you are dealing with severe clinical anxiety, you may need to consider cutting the cord with coffee. If you have yet to be diagnosed, there are still ways to tell if your caffeine levels are too high for you. Dr. Goldberg suggests monitoring symptoms and being mindful of rapid, skipped, or fluttering heartbeats, trembling and stomach upset, and sleep disruption. You can also take notes and think of it like an A/B test. Reduce the amount of coffee, soda, and tea you are drinking, and observe if a smaller amount still triggers anxiety and/or heightens your sensitivity, says David A. Gruner, medical doctor, FICS, and vascular surgeon. If the pros of having a mental stimulant aren't overweighting the cons, you could think about eliminating caffeine from your diet.
Yes, fantastic. Really, very, very good reading. So clear. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Um, what I noticed, so I think you said overweighting here. Overweighting. Anything you noticed at all or want to ask about?
Yeah, I think I was not sure about overweighting. I don't know if my pronunciation is correct or not.
Yes. So I put a T in there, so
Hmm.
I'm mistaking. So it's outweighing, outweighing,
Outweigh, okay,
out. So outweighing.
outweigh.
So there's sort of a picture here, this one word. It's almost as if you have a scale, and on one side of the scale you have one thing, and on the other thing you have something else, and you're measuring them. So if you're outweighing something, that's sort of the idea here. So it's almost if you're weighing something in a scale, weighing something. But obviously here it's outweighing something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So something's more important than something else, or having a
Yeah.
bigger effect. Anything else was there?
Trembling, disruption. I think the cord is a
Yes,
cord.
that's it.
Yeah, maybe in the
Here somewhere.
first paragraph,
Mhm.
and we have after the name of the doctor, so Dr. Goldberg suggest is I don't know, I am not sure about the accent in the monitoring, or if is
Or
it
the word.
yeah, exactly.
So monitoring.
Monitoring, okay.
Yes, monitoring. That's it.
Monitor.
So monitor and monitoring. That's it. So what's A/B testing? What's A/B testing maybe? What does that mean?
I don't know.
I think it's something that has come up. It's done in advertising. They produce an advert and they have it one way, and they have a second advert and it's done another way. And one is the A and one is the B. They see which advert has the best effect. And that's the same thing here, effectively. So there's two things being compared. Two things being compared. And maybe that comes into this outweighing thing as well. Which one outweighs another?
Yeah.
So maybe, and also notice, I can't think what it was now. So maybe I'm guessing the H was a bit quiet. So items. I think it said items. I can't remember now. So really, this is so it's heightens that one.
Heightens.
Yeah, you've got it perfectly. And I think the end of the word was a bit quiet here, but it might just be my hearing again. So observe.
Yeah. Observe.
And
Yeah.
observe if a smaller amount still, and observe if a smaller. So it's tricky. Observe. Yeah. There's a bit of
Observe. Yeah. Yeah. I make the E shorter. So very, very short. So observe.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah. And maybe that's acceptable, really, I suppose, really.
Observe.
Anything else from anyone else? Anyone else notice anything? There was something.
Not for me.
So I heard you say at the very beginning chord. So if two things are joined together by a piece of string, you could say there's a chord between them. But if there was an H right where my cursor is, it's pronounced exactly the same way. So it's still chord despite having an H here, but it means it's musical. So it's a musical chord. So we spell those two words differently. So a musical chord and a piece of string chord are different spelling. So both chord. Okay, nothing, let's scroll on then. There was something else, I just can't think what it was now. I think it was only very subtle, actually, thinking about it. So just this word here, maybe. So so let's just go down to that there. Let's half a sentence, maybe. So I read this as, consider cutting the cord with coffee. Should you reread that little bit there?
Yeah. Consider cutting the cord with coffee.
So it's a bit of an alliteration there, isn't it? So
yeah, see.
yes. So I think it was the word consider. Just again, consider.
Consider.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, it just means.
Consider.
Yeah, I mean sometimes I say words just slightly wrong. Sometimes I think we all do that, really. So let's scroll on if that's okay. So back over to you, Elaine, if you're still with us. Okay, so are you okay to read from here?
Yeah, I'm
So
still
but
here.
don't. Yeah, to there maybe.
Yeah. Can I start?
Yes, please.
But don't think of this as a forever breakup. Eamon says, if you're trying to get your anxiety to go away, it helps to stay away from caffeine entirely. That doesn't mean forever, just until it's no longer a problem. I do find that taking a short break from coffee on days where my anxiety is super intense is always helpful, but most days I gauge how I feel and try to check in with my anxiety and stress levels throughout the day. If they are higher, I start with half cup and skip more caffeine the rest of the day.
Yes. Okay, that's great. Okay. Again, I could understand everything there.
Half
So
cup,
yeah, with the calf, that's I would
half
say it's,
caffeine,
yeah, that's
half
what it means.
caffeine.
Hang on a second, let me just say. So half calf. I think most people say half calf. Could you just repeat that for me? Half calf.
Half cup, half cup,
So it's more calf. The vowel is more ah. So calf.
calf,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's really getting it now. That's
half
it.
calf, half calf.
So I think that's actually a brand name, isn't it? Half calf. So I think actually it's a brand name. But if we were right, s- so most people wouldn't write CAF. As I say, that's half calf. I think is a brand name. Most people, if they're writing the word calf, they'll say CAF and put an E on the end. But I would say it makes exactly the same as these two words make exactly the same sound,
Calf,
similar meaning, really.
calf.
But a calf might also be a cheap restaurant to buy a breakfast in or a meal in. Often that's what a calf or cafe is. Calf or cafe. Anything you noticed that little bit there you just read out that you want to go back over again?
But most days I gauge.
Gauge. I was going to say that actually. So, gauge is measure something.
Mhm,
So you're measuring perhaps a caffeine level, I guess, or if you might gauge a problem. That's it.
mhm,
So measuring. And
mhm,
you may also on your car, you may have gauges on your car. So you might have, if you have a petrol car, you may say, what's the fuel gauge? What does it say? How much fuel have I got in my car?
mhm.
Fuel gauge. That's it. Um, I think I noticed a word just below it as well. So that one there.
Throughout,
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yes. Throughout. Just, and again, maybe throughout.
throughout.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That's it. Um, Let's go back to the top one again. If I just
Mhm.
read that top line to the comma, if I read it too, could you read it back? So here we go. So, but don't think of this as a forever breakup. You'll go.
But don't think of this as a forever breakup.
Okay. So with this word here, that was pretty good actually. That's that one word. So you're saying this.
This.
Making the th into a z. So it's more of there is a similarity really from what you're doing, but with the th, it's your tongue just behind your teeth, your top set of teeth,
Mhm.
and you're just touching the top of your top set of teeth. This, this,
This.
and
This.
again.
This.
Ah, that
This.
was really good. That was really good. Yes, that's fantastic. That's better than me, I would say. That's good. So let's just do that sentence again, and if you can just get that right, that'd be
Mhm.
fantastic. So, but don't think of this as a forever breakup. You'll go.
But don't think of this as a forever breakup.
That is really good. So you got think spot on and this. That was really good. That's fantastic. Let's scroll on to that little bit there, maybe. So Aman says, and I don't often come across this name, but it's someone's name. So Ammon or Aman says, if you are even trying to get your anxiety to go away, I read it again because I messed it up slightly. So Aman says, if you are trying to get your anxiety to go away, so you'll go.
Aman says, if you are trying to get your anxiety to go away,
That's it. That's good. That's good. Maybe the next one down, next line across, I should say. So it helps to stay away from caffeine entirely. So it helps to stay away from caffeine entirely. You'll go.
It helps to stay away from caffeine entirely.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So when I read that sentence there, it's finishing this idea, and really the key word is that word there. So when I read that out each time, I tried to give a slightly different voice to the word entirely. I gave a bit of extra emphasis to it because you pretty much could
Entirely.
say the whole sentence, or pretty much everything we've read that we've been reading just today, you and I, just now, that's the key word that it all comes down to, this key word here. So I gave that word a bit of extra emphasis by making it slightly separate. So that's one of the things we do in English. I'm sure you noticed that. So maybe just that one word there. So away, away. You'll go.
Away. Away.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Away,
Stay away.
away. I think you're about sort of 80% there. It's pretty good, actually, even 90% there. But it sounds as if you're not quite doing the W spot on. So what we just to mention again with the W, you get your lips, both of them, to make like a small circle. If you're kissing a child on the top of the head or something like that, and that's the sort of shape you're trying to get with your lips, and that's how you start off to get that sound. Oh, away, away.
Away.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's it. You've got it. That's it. You've got that one. Okay, that was good. So we'll read that last bit again. Just try to get the away if you can. Whoops. So that one bit again then.
It helps to stay away from caffeine entirely.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So maybe write that word down and to practice it again in an hour or so's time, and get the lips like into a small circle to get the way bit. Okay.
Yeah, thank
Okay. So
you.
well done. Well done. Any
Okay.
questions from anybody else about this little bit we just read then? Great. Good, correct answer. No one said anything. So this is fantastic. So, is anyone addicted to coffee? This is really what we're talking about here. Is anyone addicted to coffee?
Yes, I must admit I'm coffee addicted person.
Coffee, yeah.
So this article is very interesting for me. It's very
Mm.
helpful.
But do you suffer a little bit of anxiety? I think maybe everyone does.
Yes, I've got a medication for my depression and
Ah,
I like coffee. So maybe it's like a balance.
yes. Have you ever heard of that thing, L-theanine? Was it L-theanine? Yeah, there we go. Because this was mentioned in the article, wasn't it? L-theanine. I haven't heard of it personally. But
No, I've
have
never
you?
heard about that. I've heard about L-carnitine for exercises, but
Oh, creatine. Oh yes, L-creatine. That's right. I think does the pancreas make that creatine? I think. Yeah. So it is legal in the UK according to this article. I hope that's true. Okay, so you tempted to cut back on your coffee as a result of this, or would you?
no, I like taste of coffee.
You love it.
I've
Would you? But would you
never had
mix?
a sip
But
of
would you
it.
mix? Because what this lady mentioned was have a little bit, half a portion of normal coffee, and half calf.
Maybe. Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I will try
Mm,
it. Yes, half and half to reduce amount of natural coffee.
yes,
Maybe.
it's worth giving it a go, isn't it? Okay, that's really good. So, anyone else? Are any more coffee addicts want to come out? So, when you come
I'm
out, that's a way of admitting something. Yes, over to you, Michael.
no,
Mm.
came out.
So, to come out means you're admitting something that is slightly embarrassing, maybe. Doesn't have to be. So yeah. Anything? What were you saying, Michael? What were you going to say? Sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm not addictive person, but I like coffee. I
Mm,
usually drink the cup of coffee in the morning.
mm,
It's coffee with milk.
mm.
I like with milk, like
Ah, yes.
Americana with milk.
Oh, the
Uh,
because you can buy a coffee in a shop called an Americano, can't you? Is that what you're
mm,
saying?
if I buy, coffee
Oh,
in a
okay.
shop or in coffee machine, preparing coffee machine. It's Americano with milk, but in the morning we prepare in.
Yes. So you
So
both have coffee in the morning, do you?
yes, in the morning, and I can drink some coffee, some 1 cup of during the day. So every day, every single day, I drink coffee in the morning, and
Yes.
sometimes 1 cup during the day.
Well,
So
that's not addiction at all, is it really? Doesn't seem to be.
yes, I don't overuse. I
Mm.
don't overuse coffee. So
Mm.
it's for me. Sometimes I can drink coffee and then have a nap. So it's usually after work, after
Mm.
job, when I come home, and after, for example, dinner, I drink some coffee and have a nap. So it's
Mm.
usual. It's very often.
But if you didn't have the coffee, you would still sleep if you missed out the coffee, would you say? I'm thinking about, it's a bit unusual. I do the same thing, but coffee is meant to wake you up, isn't it? So it's a bit, well, I do that too. So it's a strange thing to do, is have a coffee, then go to sleep. I wonder why we do that.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the latest time in the day would you have a coffee? Because it can stop you getting to sleep at night, can't it? Can it?
Uh, you know,
Mm.
usually it's in afternoon. It's it,
Mm.
it's first half of a day. Yes, but honestly, even when I drink coffee in the evening, I have a good sleep. I have a good
It doesn't affect you.
dream. Yes, maybe if I drink more coffee and
Mm.
mm,
Or strong coffee.
but I drink pretty strong coffee.
You drink strong
Because
coffee anyway.
my wife is coffee woman.
Oh,
She's like she, before I
yes.
met my woman, my wife. I didn't like coffee. I didn't drink
Yes.
it.
That's strange, isn't
So,
it? You've
but
got her
now
to
I
thank for
drink.
coffee.
Yeah.
So Giuseppe, what about you then? What's your love affair or not with coffee?
Yeah, actually, when I was a student, I drank coffee a lot also, um, after dinner at night, and
Mm.
it didn't affected my sleep.
Mm.
And yeah, I think until 5 years ago, before the pandemic, I was a coffee addicted, so I used to drink uh, several coffees every day, and but nowadays mm, I don't drink coffee anymore. Maybe coffee is a pleasure, so
Mm.
sometimes I use a decaf, but half dose of decaf, so a
Mm.
small amount of caffeine. And yeah, mm, I think my body needed coffee in the past, but nowadays I think it is not necessary for my body and mind, and so yeah, maybe I am reducing also tea, so there are no um, caffeine or caffeine in my diet in this moment. So
Yeah, that's interesting. So and Elena, so you had mentioned at the beginning, didn't you, that you're a bit of a coffee addict?
Yes, I I think coffee doesn't affect my sleep. So I can drink coffee, eat something sweet, and go to bed, and I sleep well. So, but I've noticed if I don't drink coffee too much, not enough for me, I think. uh, my head started to. I have a headache. When I drink coffee, my headache stops.
Oh, okay.
So I
Ah,
think
so
coffee affects my blood vessels.
yes, it does, doesn't it?
Mhm.
So why would that be, guys? Why would that be?
Yeah, I think that Elena is right because there are, for example, about me, when I was drinking coffee, if I reduce the number of cups per day, I had headache, and because uh, caffeine has a specific action on blood vessels, and people who suffer from headaches can take medicines with a little amount of caffeine inside. So it can be also a therapeutic use of coffee or caffeine better.
So it's got nothing to do with
So
raising your blood pressure because it
no,
doesn't raise your.
that's why I have to say, plenty of women have a low blood pressure, so women like coffee because of that. Because of coffee helps to help them better during the day, to make a lot of tasks.
Bearable.
The role of caffeine is in the headache or migraine is to make blood vessel a little stricter. So the headache starts because there is mm, a kind of dilation or increase in caliber of blood vessels. So, and caffeine is able to fight this situation. So, and of course, if the amount of caffeine is high, it involves all vessels, and so that's the reason why the blood pressure increases. So,
Okay. So it constricts the blood vessels
yeah,
and
locally.
dilation. That's the
Yeah,
words.
it constricts blood vessels locally, and when you use it with a small amount. But if you drink a lot, of course, the constriction is diffused, and so is wider, and your blood pressure increases. So,
Even further, yes.
Giuseppe, are you a doctor?
yeah, I am a retired doctor, actually.
So at that point, let's stop the recording. No, it's not working. How do I stop the recording? Okay, there's a button here somewhere. Let me click the button.
Good. We can ask medical advice from you.
Yeah.